Hey y'all, welcome to another week of What's for Dinners. I am doing the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge, so I'm going to try and use everything that I have and not buy anything. So this week I'm going to try and just make some quick and easy meals. Tonight I'm going to make some chicken tenders. I've just got some cut up pieces of chicken breast that I've coated in flour, salt and pepper, and onion powder. And I've also got some potatoes over there on the stove that I just cut up in some water. And I'm going to add some of my home canned green beans. I'm trying to use those up because I've got some more out in the garden that I need to be canning up. So I'm going to try and use as many as I can. So I'm just going to mix that up, and I just got some onion powder and I think a couple bouillon cubes in there. I like to use that to give it some flavor. Sometimes I like to even use chicken broth. So I've got my oil preheated, so I'm just going to go ahead and start frying up the chicken tenders. This is going to be really quick and easy because those chicken breasts doesn't take very long to fry. I'm just going to make sure that that oil is nice and hot and lay them down in there and get them fried up. And I've already made my potato, so all it is heating up the green beans. And here are my chicken tenders. They turned out really good, and I went ahead and just made up some honey mustard. And I've got some red onions and some cucumbers that I pickled, and I'm going to have that on the side. And this was a delicious meal, and it came together in no time. Tonight we're going to have quesadillas, and I've just got my home canned chicken, my home canned salsa, and some taco seasoning, and I just mixed that together and heated it up. I'm also making some rice. I've got a box of Goya rice that I had on hand in my pantry, so I made that. And I also shredded up some cheese. And these things were so good, and I'm just toasting them in my cast iron skillet. And I don't know why I don't make these all the time. They're so good and quick and easy. And I'm just going to top it with some of the salsa and some sour cream. This came together in just a few minutes, and it was delicious, and we really enjoyed it. And it used up what I had on hand already, so that was a win for me. Tonight we're going to have some barbecue pork chops. I took them out of the freezer and defrosted them, and I'm seasoning them on both sides with some paprika, some barbecue seasoning, and some onion powder. You know I got to have me some onion powder. And I'm just going to brown them on both sides. I had made some barbecue sauce last week, so I'm going to brown them and then put them in my barbecue sauce. And these turned out amazing, y'all. That barbecue sauce was really good. I'll have the recipe down below. And we just had it with some mashed potatoes and some broccoli and cheese from the freezer. We're making meatloaf tonight, y'all, and it is the best meatloaf I've ever made. And I will have the recipe link down below, but it just calls for peppers, onions, the meat, 2 pounds of meat, 2 eggs scrambled, some cracker crumbs, and some ketchup. This is delicious, and I always make a bunch because we eat on it for at least 2 days. It's that good. I guarantee you it's the best meatloaf you've ever had. So I'm going to mix this up and put it in my pan. Since I started to get zucchini and squash out of the garden, I thought I would try this recipe, and oh my goodness, this was easy and so delicious, y'all. And I just put some oil in there, some salt and pepper, and then topped it with some Parmesan cheese and baked it in the oven for about 15 minutes. It was so good. Y'all have got to try that. And I've got the meatloaf out of the oven. Does that not look delicious? It was perfect, and it's perfect every time. And look at this. Does that not look gorgeous? And it tasted just as good as it looks. And look at that meatloaf, y'all. I don't even know if I want to cut it, but I've got to take a snack right there because it is delicious, and I cannot wait for dinner. And I've also got some corn on the cob I got from Walmart, and it was really good too, really sweet. And I've got leftover potatoes and green beans on the side. And this is one of those meals that I could eat every single day. And now I'm going to make some more of those potatoes and green beans. This time I've got some fresh ones, so I'm just going to cook the potatoes in the crock pot with some bouillon cubes and some water, and I'll add my green beans to them after they're done. I'm going to use up some more pork chops. This time I'm going to use my shake and bake. I've got a pack left in the pantry that I need to use up, so I just tried to flatten them as much as I could, and I'm just going to salt and pepper them on each side and then coat them in the shake and bake. I always like to keep shake and bake on hand. That way I don't have to sit there and fry them on the stove, and I can start making everything else. And now the potatoes are done, and I'll just add the washed and clean string beans, and I'll just pour them in there, and I'll cook them another 15 minutes. And I got some more squash and zucchini out of my garden, so I'm going to add them to some bacon grease. I made a BLT salad, y'all, with that other video. I'll have the video link down below and the recipe. Y'all got to try it. But I'm just going to add some onions to this and fry it up until it's tender. And look at that, y'all. I cannot wait to make this again. I have so much squash and zucchini out there, and I'll probably be making this a lot. So now I've just got my green beans ready. So I got everything else ready, and I'm going to make a plate. Does that not look delicious, y'all? Alright, here's my plate with my pork chop, green beans and potatoes, my fried squash and zucchini, and I also pickled some more cucumbers and red onions that I got somewhere. Mine hadn't come in yet, but I had to go to a farm stand and get those. I'm going to buy fresh vegetables, even if I do use everything else from my pantry and refrigerator. But this was an amazing and delicious meal that I could have every single day of the week. Alright, y'all, here's the best part, dessert. This is a peach cobbler, and it's like going to be 4 ingredients, 1, 1, 1, and 1. So I've got 1 stick of butter here, and I'm just going to melt it in the 9x13 pan. And after it's melted, I'm just going to take 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour, and 1 cup of milk. So it's 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. And just mix that together, and that will be your batter. And I've also got 1 can of peaches here that I've drained. You want to mix up the batter first and put it in the pan. It's already greased because of that butter. And then you'll mix that up and pour the peaches over the top of the batter and bake it for about 35 minutes. And you get a delicious peach pie. My mom has made this forever, and it turns out perfect every time. I hope y'all enjoyed spending some time with me in the kitchen. I always love doing these pantry challenges from Three Rivers Homestead. And I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see y'all in the next video.